Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We're going to be talking about a Donny van de Beek exit plan. Apparently the wheels are fully in motion to get Donny van de Beek out of Manchester United in January, and Manchester United's only concern is whether they can recoup the money they paid for Donny van de Beek 18 months ago. So that's quite interesting, because I think at the end of the day it's not going to massively please a lot of United fans to see Donny van de Beek leaving Manchester United. So we'll be talking about that, but also I want to talk about Ollie. Ollie coming out and back the board basically backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this situation, which in an initial reaction isn't wrong, but it will frustrate people in relation to Progress FC, Shirt Sales FC, Heading in the Right Direction FC. This is bullshit that we've heard for the last 3 years. This is not Progress FC. This is Time to Deliver FC. You saw that with Ronaldo and Bruno at the end of the game on Saturday. They're not happy. This is not about another. Ronaldo is massive in relation to this, because Ronaldo hasn't got time for a project. This is meant to be time to deliver, and United cannot say that that's what it's all about. Well, funnily enough, we have got Fabrizio Romano live on the show this afternoon at 2:30. So we're going to be talking about Pogba, Donny, Ollie situation, because Romano is, this is where it's coming from, this story, that the club, and I'll read you the quote here. Manchester United are from Manchester United. There's no panic yet. They know Ollie will take time to build the identity of the team with Ronaldo, Rafael Varane, and Jadon Sancho. And Ollie himself has come out and said, "I'm very confident we will get the best out of this squad. A lot has happened this month. We've had Rafael, Jadon with us since August, and Cristiano since September. We've got loads to work on and need to improve. We know that, but believe in this group and coaching staff." You know what? It boils the blood. And look, I'm not here to start screaming Ollie out. I'm not here to start screaming Ollie in. I'm not in for dividing the fan base on this. You can make your own mind up. But as I said, we dream the same dream. We want the same thing. It's going to be the tagline this year. And I think it's a really important tagline, because we all want the same thing. There's no point falling out with each other. We all want United challenging for titles. And you will get people saying, we're only 2 points off the top of the league. We're not 2 points off the top of the league. We are 2 points off the top of the league if you look at it. But my point is, it's a false economy. When we play Liverpool in a couple of weeks' time, Man City will be playing someone shit that they win. Even if we draw with Liverpool, Man City make those points back. Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea have all played each other. That's 2 games they've all played each other that we haven't. When we play Chelsea or when we play Man City or Liverpool and we go, oh, that's a good result, getting a point, Liverpool might be playing bloody, Norwich, and they'll beat them or whoever, and then that's where they'll make another 2 points. So we're 2 points behind top, but we've got to play hard games where they won't be playing as hard games. And then this is why you can't look at the league table. Bruno was on about this. The reality is, by the end of November, I'll be stunned if we're not 7, 8, maybe 10 points off first place. Because I feel that realistically, that's where we are now. 14 points from 21. We are 2 points off the top of the league. But I think by the time we've played some of the harder games, that gap will start to widen. So when you listen to Ollie saying, I believe in the coaching staff, I believe in this, I'm fed up of it. And I would challenge any United fan, no matter what their stance is, to sit and listen to this show if you are listening and say, I'm wrong when I say we've got to be challenging for a major trophy this season. And a major trophy is the league, or it is the Champions League. And 14 points from 21 and 1 point from 6 at home when you're playing Everton and Villa is not going to make me wake up on a Monday morning of an international break and go, you know what, we're heading in the right direction, FC, Passion and Desire FC, Progress FC. It's not acceptable. And actually, you know where it comes back to as well? Daniel Kirk says, I agree that Ollie needs to improve. However, when people berate him and say things that are relevant, I do start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, says Daniel Kirk. We'll be more specific, Daniel. But you know where this comes back to for me? This is where I think as a fan base we make a big mistake. The rhetoric at the moment is Ollie in, Ollie out. There was a show about it last night, very good. I watched it this morning because I was out at a wedding last night, so I was in no state to watch it. So I watched it this morning. Ollie in, Ollie out is a very good debate point at the moment, because there's a lot of people who are fed up with Ollie and there's a lot of people backing Ollie, and that's great. And either side of that argument, I think both sides just want the best for Manchester United. It's not about being toxic, and I don't like to see a division in the fan base. But ultimately, Ollie in, Ollie out, is that the right debate to be having? No, it really isn't, because you're escaping and allowing those people responsible to escape again. The big problem at this football club for the last 16 years, but the big problem at this football club for the last 8 years specifically, has been the board and the owners. They are responsible. They should not be let alone. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, at the end of the day, if this is a restaurant, is the restaurant manager. And his waiters and his cooks are the players. But the restaurant owner is responsible. It's not for the fans are always going to have an opinion. The fans are always going to say, look, I want Ole in, I want Ole out. I want this player, I don't want that. I don't want McFred, I want Matic and Pogba. Whatever. You're going to get that with the fans. But ultimately, the people with the power are the owners. And this is why you always want people who are in tune with the fans. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in some ways, is irrelevant in relation to the position we're in if we're not doing well. Ole coming out and saying, they've got great coaching staff, we're heading in the right direction. I mean, it doesn't really matter what he says. Because if the fans aren't happy and the owners aren't happy, what he says doesn't matter. He's got no power. But the problem is, what the fans say at the moment doesn't matter. What Ole says does matter, and the board don't give a shit. So we're in this weird situation, whereas at Chelsea, look, echoes of last season with Lampard, an amazing summer, doesn't know what to do with it. This season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, an amazing summer, we've destabilised. The reality is we're not progressing from last year. Southampton away last year we won. We didn't this year. You know, Villa away, Villa at home last year we won. We lost this year. And Everton at home last season we drew. Well, we've drawn again. So we're not progressing, and we're not playing good teams. But the rhetoric or the mantra from the owners are, you know, we spent a lot of money. Ole's the right man. We're heading in the right direction. Realistically translated, that is, we don't give a shit, and as long as we finish top 4. And they know that's going to happen because the money is pouring in like an avalanche because they bought Ronaldo. And from Manchester United's point of view, the Glazers are licking their lips. They're licking their lips like a fox who can see that the chicken coop door has been left open. And they love it. They absolutely love it because they're going to make and are making loads of money. And also that team cannot not finish in the top 4. There is no ambition to win trophies. And ultimately, you have got owners who don't support Manchester United and people on that board who don't support Manchester United. And you expect that football club to be in tune with the fans who do support Manchester United and may disagree on what the path is, but ultimately want Manchester United to win a title. Whether you're Ole in, Ole out, Ole out, McFred in, McFred out, Pogba in, Pogba out, Cavani in, Cavani out, doesn't matter. You all want the same thing. You know, sometimes you fall out with each other, but the thing is, you are absolutely in sync with each other. You want Manchester United to win the title. You just have different ideas about how it can happen. The owner, the board, they don't really want us to win the title. They'd like it, but it's not the driver. The driver is money. The driver is a level of success that brings money into that football club and makes them wealthy. So when you're thinking about Ole, actually, who has the power to, you know, 1, sack Ole, 2, warn Ole, 3, you know, make changes to the coaching setup, whatever. They've got the power. But we get manipulated as fans into thinking, oh, it's all on Ole. Ole can't sack himself. Ole can't warn himself. The owners can, the board can, and they don't. And it always comes back to the same thing. And this is the great thing about the Super League happening, was the way that the fans reacted to that was amazing. But it's all gone away now because it's all about Ole again. And actually, the board sending messages out like, oh, you know, we're very happy with Ole and the coaches. You know, it's going to take a bit of time to adjust. I mean, where is all this coming from? Cavani, Tony started is more in debate than McFred, says Rahul. I don't think they did bad, to be honest with you. Ole on Mike Phelan. I was trying to get hold of Mike Phelan because I know I needed Mike with me. I finally got hold of him and he said yes, he had about 150 missed calls. He did want it, but sod it, says Nick P. Don't know what that's all about. Practically, we have taken steps backwards in the 10 games we've played. Not one have we controlled and have been at chaos. Fans have to stick together, says Akshay. I don't completely agree that this is only on the board. Facts are, Ole got an amazing squad, best we've had in years, yet he is performing so poorly, says Yo. And I saw people on Twitter were going in on him personally, and that made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Mark. Oh, no, look, people personally going in on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is disgusting. There is always a clip that, you know, plays on my heartstrings, which is that one, I think, from last year where Ole's signing contracts and somebody's filming him and says, you're going to get the sack then, and Ole's eyes are like a, you know, little puppy. I don't like that victimisation and you know, bullying of people. I don't like that. I don't like it when it becomes personal with any player or any manager. It shouldn't happen. But, you know, you can call out incompetence, and ultimately, going back to what somebody said there, is it on the board? And I'm going to talk about Donny, but I just think this is an important point. Ultimately, going back to the board, of course it's on the board. You know, at the end of the day, we're waking up this morning to the board are not panicking. They're backing the manager, and obviously they feel that it's going to take time when you've bought Rafael Varane, Ronaldo and Sancho for it to settle down. This is bullshit. This is absolute nonsense. This is uneducated people running a very big football club. It does not take time for Rafael Varane, Cristiano Ronaldo and Jadon Sancho to settle into a team. You do not have this mentality when you finish second in the league and you add Ronaldo, Sancho and Varane. You don't have the mentality. It's okay to take 14 points from shit. 21 points, Ollie. Like, we've not played anybody, but it doesn't matter. We've bought you Varane, we've bought you Ronaldo, and we've bought you Sancho. And of course it's all right to take 1 point from 6 at home to Villa and Everton, because you've got to take time to adjust. It doesn't matter that Everton don't have any of their strikers and they're playing Rondon, who's a bag of crap, up front. It doesn't matter that you've got Ronaldo and Varane and Sancho to choose from while Richarlison's thinking about calling up the tea lady to play up front, because you know what? It takes time to adjust. What a load of crap. Thomas Tuchel came into Chelsea mid-season mess with loads of players he hadn't bought and a squad that's not very happy, and within 2 weeks got them running in the way he wanted to play, and within 3 months had won a Champions League. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been at this club for 3 seasons. He finished second in the league. He's added Ronaldo, Sancho and Varane, and we're meant to go again. Hold on, we've bought 3 world-class players. It's totally logical that he's going to need time to adjust. Of course we're going to lose at home to Villa and draw with Everton. It's logical. We've bought 3 world-class players to add to the fantastic squad that we've got. Of course it's going to all go to shit straight away. It's such a nonsense. And that's where I do blame the club, because that's coming from Fabrizio Romano, so he's obviously been told something. And I get that the club is going to back Ollie. I get that. But yet again, they're not in tune with reality when they start saying things like, and Ollie said it himself. Look, I'll read you this quote right here, right now. This is from Ollie himself. I'm very confident in the squad. A lot has happened. We've brought players in. We've got loads of work to do and we need to improve. It's a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense to say that basically it's expected that we're going to drop points because we've got new players at the club and it means we've got to start learning to play together again. I mean, what a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish. That's not an excuse. And yet, it's almost like... it's almost like, drip, drip, drip effect. Eventually, you're just going to start, getting brainwashed by the sound of a drip. Because it's like, there will be people out there going, that makes total sense. We've bought 3 new players in, so once everything's all right and everyone's used to each other, we'll start to win games again. But of course you're going to take 14 points from 21. Of course you're going to, take 1 point from 6 at home when you bought 3 of the best players in Europe. Of course. Logically, this squad came second last year. We've added 3 world-class players. Of course we're going to start dropping points and playing crap football. It's logical. You add 3 world-class players to a very good squad. Of course we're going to start playing like bloody Norwich. I mean, it's a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense. And it's Excuse FC, and it's Progress FC, and it's Buying Time FC, and it's the same bloody cycle. Because nobody in that football club actually knows how to win, and nobody in that football club will rocket anybody up the arse. Well, I hope Ronaldo does, because, board owners, current squad, there's nobody pushing the button. It's Friends Reunited. Friends Reunited, I thought it disappeared. It was a website that was very popular 20 years ago. It's back, and it resides at Old Trafford. Friends Reunited, that's all we are. Oh, you used to play for the club. You can have a coaching job. You can have a fitness job. Mates rates. Nobody's accountable to anybody. And look, I think that at the end of the Everton game on Saturday, it was out of context when Ollie was smiling. I think he wasn't very happy, but that one bit with 4 minutes gone and he's smiling. But the reality is, whether he's smiling or whether it's out of context, do you see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the end of that game, when we desperately need to win, demanding more? Shouting and screaming at his players? No, because he'll never bloody do it. And he'll openly say he'll never do it. And a lot of our players will never do it. But it's like, if you're winning a Premier League title, or you're one of Europe's best footballing sides, and you come in an interview and go, I'm never going to be that guy like a Pep or Mourinho who gets animated on the touchline. I don't believe in it. I'm very passive. I'm a happy-go-lucky sort of guy. I believe in being friendly and nice. That's great if you're winning titles. But I'll tell you what, excuse me, Mr. Solskjaer, Pep Guardiola is winning titles and he gets very animated. Sir Alex Ferguson won titles and he gets very animated. Mourinho won titles and he gets very animated. Tell me more than one coach who's a smiler, happy-go-lucky manager and consistently wins titles, because I can't think of one. They're all driven, competitive people. And there's no drive in that football club at the moment. Hi Mark, hope you're well. It was my girlfriend's 20th birthday yesterday. Please could you wish and maybe a happy birthday, and she loves your content, says Cameron. Happy birthday to Maya. Hope you had a great birthday yesterday, and hopefully happy birthday for yesterday. Hi Mark, what's the difference between Ollie and a Norwegian Joel Glazer, says Andre. Don't know, is there a punchline there? Anyway, somebody just said there Ollie's treatment of Donny is disgusting. I mean, this was the big main story I wanted to talk about this morning, but obviously I've just gone off on a tangent there. Look, the reality is I don't think 14 points from 21 is acceptable, certainly in relation to the opposition we've played, and I think 1 point from 6 at home is disgusting. And I think that, you know, as I've said before, you know, now is not the time I would say you're going to sack Solskjaer, but we've got some very difficult games to come. But already, I think we've blown any chance of winning the league. And I think that is something that really irritates me. I think we've blown any chance of being in a title race already. And I think Ollie is moving the goalposts. 6 weeks ago, he was talking about this year, we want to be in a title race come April or May. We won't be in a title race come bloody November. So, you know, that's a massive failure. But you know what? I hate people who move the goalposts. The goalposts are being moved. Look at the recent quotes. I've bought some players. It's going to take time to adjust, but we're heading in the right direction. And I'm like, I'm like, for God's sake, again. You come out like, we're going to challenge for a title, and within 3 weeks, it's like, well, you know, actually, adjustment FC. But you know, when you buy Cristiano Ronaldo, who's 36, it exposes the lie. Cristiano Ronaldo's here, right now, to win. He's not here to be part of a bloody project. And you know what? I think I never felt we were in a title race anyway, but I think people are waking up to the fact that we can't be in a title race, and it all comes back to the same thing. You know, I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I hope lots of other people say it as well. The reason we're not in a title race is because Solskjaer's obsessed with McTominay and Fred. He's had Matic fit all season, he's had Pogba fit all season, and he picks McTominay and Fred. And that, for me, and I'm sure, look, there's greater minds than mine that would say there's more reasons than that, Mark. This is a bigger reason, that's a bigger reason. Some people even think we shouldn't have bought Ronaldo. But the reality is, you pick McTominay and Fred in your midfield, and you better be wearing black and white stripes, because I'm talking Newcastle midfield, not Manchester United. Sorry, Mark, my Mike Phelan comment was based on Friends Reunited. If Ollie's going nowhere, surely the Ollie's only solution is to revamp the back room. He'll never revamp the back room, Nick P, because the back room came into the job with him, and that's why Ollie got the job. So he will never, ever, ever get rid of a Carrick or a McKenna or a Mike Phelan, because they basically are the same thing. People think Solskjaer's the manager, and he is. But think back to when he came into the job. Ollie, can you do the job for 6 months? That's all we need. And we've got Mike Phelan for you, Michael Carrick and McKenna, and you just need to do it together. And they are a unit. He's never going to sack any of them. They're always going to be together. At the end of the day, Ollie put himself in this situation. My only advice to Ollie, give the fans a reason to back him rather than look for an excuse to sack him, says Raven. Look, there is a way back. There is a way back. I'm not going to lie. Some of the football we played on Saturday was decent. I think if you played the right team with that mentality, we would beat Everton. The reason we didn't beat Everton is that the tempo was quicker. But again, he's picking McTominay and Fred, who just not good enough. And we'll always give that. We should have been out of sight against Everton. With the possession we had, we should have been out of sight. But the reality is, you always give the opposition a chance with a midfield that doesn't pick up the runners and isn't good enough. Let's talk about that midfield though. Donny van de Beek, story coming in from Calcio Mercato in Italy. I'm going to talk to Romano about this afternoon, but effectively, Donny van de Beek's agent has been working very hard to sort out an exit plan for Manchester United from Manchester United in January. Inter Milan are very interested. We know Inter Milan have always been interested in Van de Beek, but also Juventus are interested. Juventus want Tchouaméni, but they're also interested in Donny van de Beek. United's stance on this is that if they can get the money back they paid for Donny van de Beek, they wouldn't stand in the way. And as I said to you yesterday morning on the morning show, I spoke to someone yesterday morning and also had some information on Saturday night, and that information is the same. Donny van de Beek wants to get out of Manchester United as soon as possible. He wanted to go to Everton a couple of weeks ago, or whenever the transfer window closed. United said no. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has basically destroyed his career, or Manchester United, or whoever. The reality is his career has been on hold for 2 years. He desperately wants to get out. Of course, his priority was always to be a Manchester United player, but that has become abundantly clear that that cannot and will not happen whilst we have the current coaching setup at United. They don't trust him, they don't rate him, they don't know how to use him, they value people like McTominay and Fred above him. He's got no future at this football club, so he's looking to get out. And of course, what a surprise, there are some pretty decent clubs that would be looking at Donny van de Beek. The interesting thing is, can United get anywhere near £35 million when you haven't played a player for 2 years? I think they will struggle. I think he's going to be a loss earner, but ultimately that's going to be on them and not on Manchester United. And as I said before, whether you think Donny van de Beek was man of the match in that Carabao Cup game against West Ham, I thought Matic and Donny played very, very well. I thought they played very well together in the pre-season game against Everton, and I thought they played very well together against Wolves at the end of last season. It's a partnership I would like to have seen develop, because I think Matic needs to start more games, but the reality is I thought Donny and Matic played very well against West Ham in the Carabao Cup. Neither player have basically played since. Donny van de Beek hasn't had a minute in 4 games since playing well against West Ham. It is, in its most basic level, appalling coaching, because Donny van de Beek played well in that game against West Ham, and in the 4 games since then, we've been dreadful. I say 4 games, I think it's actually 3 games, isn't it? Because we played West Ham, then we lost to Villa, then we lost to then we beat Villarreal, and then we drew with Everton. So and also the funny thing is, from those three games since Donny played for us, and Donny played, I think, well in that midfield. At Villa, the midfield was crap. Villarreal, the midfield was crap. Everton, the midfield was crap. And yet he's not been given a minute despite playing well in his last game. You know, he's got to get out, and it's a shame. I think a lot of people are still hoping that Donny van de Beek will be given a chance by Solskjaer, but you've got to look at this pragmatically. And I said this before a ball had even been kicked this season. A lot of people were going, well, look, he's bulked up, he's come back training hard, and he did all that because he wanted to be given a chance, and he expected to be given a chance, and he's not been given a chance. But the reason I predicted he wouldn't play any games this season is because I think Ollie's made his mind up on this player a long, long time ago, and he's not going to change his mind. And Solskjaer's a very stubborn guy. And when you know Solskjaer as Man United manager, like many of you should do, last season, Eric Bailly would come in and play against Chelsea away. Brilliant, because Lindelof was injured. And you'd think, right, he's going to go with Bailly and Maguire. As soon as Lindelof's fit, he's in. It didn't matter how well Eric Bailly played. It didn't matter that Eric Bailly complemented Maguire better. Ollie's stubborn. Ollie likes Lindelof. And it's the same with Donny. It doesn't matter how much... Ollie talks about fairness, right? There is no fairness. It doesn't matter how well you play. He has favourites. Lindelof was always a favourite over Bailly, and McTominay and Fred are favourites over Matic and Pogba and Donny. And that's just the way it is. That's why I know he's not going to give Donny a chance, because he won't back down. The reality is, I think if Donny van de Beek was given a chance in a United shirt, like Fred's been given a chance, he would be a better player than Fred, and it would expose Ollie and his coaches as being wrong. And I think, you know, to call a spade, I actually think Ollie is about self-preservation as well as trying to win games. He cannot expose himself in that way that, look, I've ignored a player for 18 months and actually he's better than the players that I'm playing. We all know it. We all know Matic is better than Donny and better than McTominay and Fred, but he won't do it because people will go, well, why haven't you done this for the last year? And it exposes a weakness. People saying Ollie out, you're achieving nothing. The Glazers don't care and won't be as long as they're still at the club, says Jack. We as fans need to force them out. Well, I think everybody knows that. People want Conte and Zidane. Conte do not suit United playing style, and Zidane will win us trophies, but young players will not flourish under him, says Shav. What young players are going to flourish this season, though, Shav? Mason Greenwood's going to flourish under any coach because he's so good. Are you going to see Hannibal in a United shirt this year? No. Are you going to see Elanga? No. They're old enough. They're ready. They're not going to play. So I sort of disagree with that. You know, Ollie's got a squad of about 26 senior players, not young players. I can't see any young player developing this year under Ollie. So, you know, Ollie's prejudice trumps performance and common sense always, says Pat. Morning, Mark. The treatment of Donny will affect future signings. They will think twice coming to us, says Michael Roach. No, they won't. I mean, that is a myth. There'll be a queue of managers if we sack Solskjaer at some point, and there will always be a big queue of players. Because we've been saying this for years. Like, no one's going to come to United now. No one's going to come to United. We've just bought Ronaldo. We've just bought Varane. They'll always come to United. because they'll believe that something's happening. It's only when you arrive at United that you realise the depth of the problem. And I guarantee you, Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafael Varane, Jadon Sancho, they'll be at United, and what they thought they were coming into, they'll be there now going, bloody hell, this is not what I thought. Because that's what happens. You come to United and you don't think it's as bad as it is. The mentality at the football club is just not right. You know, from the top, it's not right. It's not a winning football club. It's not I've said this before, I'd love to know what Ronaldo thinks, because this football club that he left was about winning. Sir Alex Ferguson basically was the identity of that football club, and it was about winning. That's not the mentality at United now. It's not a winning mentality. They'd like to win, but it's not a winning mentality. Hi Mark, you're so frustrating with midfield. Like nearly all goals we've conceded are the same, with our midfield getting completely bypassed so easily. And yeah, the treatment of Donny makes me sick. That's from JV. Thoughts on Neville saying we rotate too much and didn't mention the midfield, says Daniel Kirk. Well, look, you know, Gary Neville's a passionate Manchester United fan, and his intentions are the same as yours. You know, he dreams the same dream, wants the same thing, wants Manchester United winning titles. Gary Neville thinks that McTominay and Pogba's our best midfield. I totally disagree. Doesn't mean that I and Gary are any different. We both want Manchester United to win. We just got different ideas. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the same. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Manchester United to win things. Just got very different ideas. The midfield's the problem for me. It should be Matic and Pogba. That's what I would go with. I'd even try Matic and Donny. McTominay and Fred would probably be my 5th or 6th combination, to be honest with you. So that's basically, you know, what I feel about that. I don't think it's a good enough midfield, but I think in reality, I would. I mean, look, there's an interesting point to talk about in relation to that, but I think that the reality is that the midfield is the problem with the club. 1 minute, I won't be 1 minute, and I'll be back. I think Cavani, Lingard and Donny leave in January, says Maz. Well, I'm going to ask Romano at 2:30, so make sure you're live for that. We'll ask about Cavani. It's simple, Mark. Neville and the pundits never criticise Ollie enough. Imagine the roar if these were the results under Moyes, Van Gaal or Jose, says Akshay. Look, I get that. Look, you know what? I do get that. It's like Gary Neville played with Solskjaer. They have a loyalty there. Man United, Gary Neville will value Solskjaer above a Van Gaal or a Mourinho, because they'll see a Mourinho or a Van Gaal as an imposter. They're not somebody who knows anything about the club. So when the results are bad, you can say, oh, they don't really know what the identity at Manchester United is. Ollie knows what the identity at United is, but he's about as successful as Mourinho was more successful. Van Gaal was more successful. They won trophies. I mean, if I'm Van Gaal and Mourinho, I'm sure they're probably not that bothered because they're doing other things now. But I would be sat there going, look, I'm a better coach than Solskjaer. Whatever anybody says, oh, it's the best football we've seen since Sir Alex retired. Well, how often do you see this good football? 4 or 5 times in the last 3 years? How many trophies have you got in the last 3 years? And, you know, Van Gaal can always say, I won an FA Cup. I'd love an FA Cup at United now. The FA Cup's an important trophy. Mourinho can sit there and say, well, I won a Carabao Cup and a Europa League. So, you know, trophies are very important. And, you know, as I said, it's not about, like, division in the fan base. I don't think that's what people need to worry about. It's about, this is not an acceptable start to the season. I never thought we were going to be in this position. I remember the first 6 games of the season, obviously Leeds at home, Southampton and Wolves away, come back with a home game against Newcastle. Then you've got West Ham away. Then you've got Villa at home. 6 games. And I was like, really, if you want to be in a title race and you look at how Man City and Liverpool operate, From those first 6 games, they're not particularly difficult. I want 18 points. Minimum, I want 16. After 7 games, we've not even got 16. So what I expected us to have after 6 games, we haven't even got after 7 games. 14 points from 21. And it's like, that's 33% of your points have been dropped already and you've not played anybody. And it does need calling out. But the reason the club and Ollie and everyone can hide, and the players will hide behind it because they've got to believe they're better than they actually are. I get that. It's professional sport. You can't wallow in self-pity. You've got to, got to have a positive mindset. But I'm telling you now, lads, that's a crap start to the season. It's really bad. It's not acceptable. It's really not acceptable. 14 points from 21 if you're going to be in a title race. I'm telling you, it's poor. But because we're only 2 points off the top, it's like, we're not in such a bad situation. But only an idiot fan really thinks we're 2 points off the top. Because as I said, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, they've all played each other. We've not played any of them lot. And when we do play them, that's when we play Man City, I mean, God forbid we actually lose, Man City make 3 points on us. But if we draw with Man City, which is more likely, well, who are Chelsea and Liverpool playing that week? Because if we draw, we drop 2 points on Liverpool and Chelsea if they're playing easier home games. And then when we play Liverpool, who are Man City, Chelsea playing? And are they going to make more points on us? I think realistically, we are probably, at this moment in time, 4 or 5 points off the top. If you think about the games we've played compared to what everyone else has played. But we're not going to know that until November, because by November we'll have played a lot of the harder games and they'll have played some of their easier games. And maybe Liverpool will drop points at home to Villa, and maybe Man City will drop points at home to Everton. But I don't think they will, because I don't think Man City and Liverpool are capable of playing the shit football we've been playing recently, and that's why we've been dropping points. Got no style of play. I thought there were news at the beginning of the season that we will play a 4-3-3, more attacking football, but same old 4-2-3-1. McFred crap, says Shavan one. And yeah, it's very disappointing. The problem with Ollie is that he takes certain aspects of Sir Alex's game and just stretches them out of context, just like the whole passion thing and solely playing counter-attacking football, says Julian S. Look, you know what? I think the bottom line is this. Donny van der Beek's going to force a move out of United, and who can blame him? And the second thing is the sort of headline this morning, United are backing the manager. I agree with that. They've got to back the manager. But it shouldn't be real backing like it's coming across as, it's going to take time. Just come out and say, we're behind the manager, we believe, this is going to be a good season. Don't start saying nonsense stuff that irritates your fan base, where you start saying, look, we've bought new players in, it's going to take time to adjust. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You can't excuse 1 point from 6 at home against Everton and Villa because you bought Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho. Do you realise how bad that sounds? I mean, effectively, with a home team against Villa and Everton, right? This would be like Lewis Hamilton in his Formula 1 car against a Sauber or one of the weaker Formula 1 cars, right? And they either lose the race or draw the race. And then Lewis Hamilton gets out and goes, I'm not worried that I've lost the race to a car that's not as good as me, because I've just put these brilliant new tyres on, an amazing new engine, and we only had to do 1 pit stop instead of 2, which is revolutionary. But I'm not quite used to this excellence yet. Yeah. What are you on about, Lewis? So you're basically telling us you've got 3 things to add that are amazing to add to your already amazing car, and you've lost a race to a car that's nowhere near as good as yours. Yeah, basically that's what I am saying. I'm basically saying that I've got 3 brilliant additions to a brilliant car, and that's why I lost. Because they haven't got those things. I have, but I need to get used to it. What a stupid argument. But that's what we're getting. We're getting the argument that, we've bought Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho, and that's why we're losing games, because we've got to get used to using them with the already brilliant team we've got. I don't want to hear that. But ultimately, I'm not surprised to hear that, because we're Social Media FC, we're Vibes FC, we're Progress FC, we're Fine Margins FC, we're heading in the right direction FC. there's no leadership at that football club above the manager, and there hasn't been for a very long time. There's no accountability. So, really, whether they want to listen to it or not, as a fan of many years, and I'm sure many of you agree with this, as I said, it doesn't matter whether you're Ollie in or Ollie out. Are you sat there this morning going, everything's fine? Everything's fine and everything's going to be fine. And that's what I mean. To me, it's not about what you think about Ollie. This is about the board now. Again, this is about the board putting silly messages out, because I'm telling you now, if anyone from the board was listening, and I'm sure they're not, 100% you should be concerned. 100% this could get worse. And 100% this is not a good start to the season. And 100% it is not acceptable to think it's going to take time to adjust. Because even if we do take time to adjust, we've already lost too many points, I believe, to get into a title race. And I'd love to be wrong on that, but we're up against teams that ain't going to drop many points, and we've already dropped 7 out of 21. So it's not looking good, and the board need to wake up to that, especially with the fixtures we've got coming up. Ollie can't get better. The earlier we accept this, the better for us. Do we have to be 12th on the table for people to see it, says La Joya. And if I were Donny, I'd be a bit more patient. By November end, we could be out of the top 6 and Ollie out of the job, says Amy. I mean, look, that's probably the best way Donny gets game time, to be honest. You forgot Moments FC, says Mikael Roach. Yeah. MLC 96, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Look, there's nothing more. I just will say this as a positive. There's nothing more that would make me happy than to never see McTominay and Fred start again as a pair. Individually, I don't care. But as a pair, I would love to come back from the international break against Leicester on that 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff with Ronaldo up front, Rashford on the left, Sancho on the right, Bruno at 10, Matic and Pogba in the midfield, and our back 5 that we like. And we play the same way as we did for the first hour against Everton, and we beat Leicester 3-0. And then we play Atalanta and we beat them. And then we go and play Liverpool, and with that team I've just mentioned, we get a 2-2 draw, but it's a really good game because Liverpool are a good team. And then we go and beat Spurs, and then we play Man City and we get another draw. All right, it's only 8 points from 12, but we're picking the right team with the right players and playing in the right way. Am I going to see that? No. 100% when we play Liverpool, we're playing McTominay and Fred. You know it. Anyway, look, we could talk and talk and talk. We could talk and talk and talk. I still want to believe. I'm still hopeful that we can turn this around, but, we'll have to just wait and see. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Of course, we've got the 8 o'clock show tonight, and this afternoon at 2:30, I'll be live with Romano. We're going to be talking about the Donny situation. We're going to be talking about Cavani, Pogba situation as well, live at 2:30. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care, smash a like, and I'll speak to you in a bit.